Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another 4-lining computer. Richard, this is your computer. I think he's from Georgia. Let me just check his information one second. I should have done that before, but I messed it up. Well, I missed it. Let me see. Yeah, Georgia. So his concern is crank no start. It seems like somebody else was here, and I'm going to show you why. But let me show you first the computer connected. As you see, it has a sticker. I put my name in here. It has already void if opened. This computer is a ABU2, and that it matches the 4-lining. And let's go over to the folder. I have very minimal information, but very straightforward. What the problem is a very common problem on long crank, no start, no RPMs. This is the note that I have from Richard. He sent this vehicle will not start, and then the B number, which will end in C as in Charlie, A as in Apple, 57242. We'll see that when we connect the scanner. And the module. So this is again the seals, and it says rebuilt by SIA Electronics. I think if you follow my channel, you have seen this name before. These guys are completely butchers. I'm not even sure how a company stays in business with what they do. All I have seen, especially with the FICOMs, I have never seen one touching an expensive module like this one, because I got to be honest with you, these modules used are $3,500. Sorry about that. A spam folder, a spam call. So it's amazing that they even put themselves into touch a so expensive component that could be potentially damaged. I don't know what they did, because this company, when they touch a FICOM, is garbage. They try to put the cheapest components, and they do what I call Frankenstein, trying to jump wires with absolutely, I don't know what reason, but they're completely butchers. And the reason I speak about this company like this is because I have received many computers or FICOMs from customers that I have to tell the customers, I'm sorry, but I cannot reply. Go and check for Andy's FICOM. It's on my channel. And I put in there, be aware of scammers talking about this company. So hopefully, Richard, this could be repaired, because I don't know what we have here, right? So we'll see. Let's do the test, right? All right, let's go back to this view. As you see, I have his computer connected. This is my instrument cluster. So disregard the mileage, and hopefully we get communication. So I'm going to power everything up. I'm not sure, how much sunlight is really helping us or not, because it gets a little glare for you guys to see the RPMs. I think that is better. All right, so let's put the SUS in the screen, and the Phoenix. The Phoenix is just, not the Phoenix, sorry, the full probe. The full probe is the simulator that I use to inject the signals on these setup that I have, and I use for the cam and crank sensor signals. I already have that portion on, but the computer and the cluster are not even powered up. I get the power for ignition and battery and so onto these box right here that you can see that I'm pointing right now. So in the circle, you see my hands movement, but you see all these switches are off, and I need to turn all on in order to turn these components on. But so the reason I keep the simulator on is because right now I'm injecting the crankshaft position and camshaft position sensor signals. So it's kind of like to mimic when you're cranking, right? So I'm only injecting like 400 RPMs. So if the computer is acting normally, as soon as I turn this part on, we should see injectors and coil firing. And you see that into that bottom portion. In the center, we have that wheel. That's the RPM, kind of like a tachometer, right? And on the right side of that, we have the first 4 that says like 000. And the first 4 are injectors, and the 2 last ones are coils, or spark plugs, sorry. And that is just the way the software is. I'm not sure why they only have 4 and 2, because, it's meant to be with 8 injectors and 8 coils. I think the new software, it does better, but they want $4,000 for you to update your software, which not just a subscription. No, they charge $2,000 per year per subscription to update what, right? And then if I'm paying you $2,000 for a subscription, should not that include your updates to the software? You see what I mean? So no, oh no, it does not. Oh, I'm like, wow. So yeah, I am, as you will imagine, not paying this company for a dime. I pay almost $12,000 for this tool, and they went from $400 a year to then $800 a year, then $2,000 a year, and God knows where will be the end for this company to keep charging for something that should. I mean, I'm not even sure exactly what are they think in their brain they're charging, because they're not changing any of your hardware. So what, you add in a vehicle or another vehicle, or you add in a function and you want $2,000? Wow. I mean, this is what I am dealing with. But yeah, probably that's why companies like this could not repair, components, because they cannot spend that kind of money. But let's go to this test. There was just a ramp on that company that I'm very pissed off of them, as you can imagine, right? All right, so let's, the signal is already on and being injected. So if this computer, when I turn the switches on, is acting normal, we should see immediately an RPM. Well, in the dashboard, we'll see the RPM kind of like all the gauges go to the full sweep because everything is power off. So, and then come back to zero and then read the RPMs. But even before that, we should see the coils and injectors firing into that software that you see at the bottom of the green software. So I'm going to count so you know when I'm doing the switching. First battery, which is okay. And then the ignition. And 1, 2. Okay, nobody's home. Definitely nobody's home. I know that the computer is talking to the cluster, which is important because I can read the mileage. That's my mileage in this speedometer. But that tells me there is good communication. If it would be no communication in between these two, which is important, or the computer is not talking, then we should see dashes in there. And that will be a first bad clue. But that's not the case. All right, let's read the VIN number. So let's see if we can read the VIN numbers out of the vehicle. Should be automatic ID. Just to confirm that we can we have that VIN number in here, right? Because all I see is what Richard sent me. It is correct, CA57242. So that is the correct VIN number. Let's see if we can read fault codes. And the problem is right now, since this computer has been disconnected, most of the codes that were important are gone. But I'm very familiar with this. I'm an expert on this computer. So as long as it's not damaged to the point that could be damaged by this company, hopefully they just open it up and didn't know what to do and send it back. But we'll see shortly. All right, so, and I'm also talking to see if this comes back to life, because sometimes this computer, oh, it just did. You see, it just did. And now we're reading RPMs. I was just about to say that. Sometimes it takes a long time, kind of like something warms up. And this is actually, right now, Richard, I can tell you, this is 100% the analog to digital converter. No doubt about it. This is the analog to digital converter, and this component is very expensive. I already explained that to Richard, and I tell openly to everybody. I can definitely repair these computers, but when it's the analog to digital converter, it goes to the top tier price, because just that component alone, it's only one supplier that has it, and I'm not going to share because you can see it's other companies trying to copy what I do. That component, which I don't mark up anything, is $1,000. It went from $300 to $700, and now it's $1,000. At least now he warranties the components. Before I was getting no warranty, and I was eating not really many that I can say that I have to replace. But I tell you, like, I'm sorry, I'm making just all the work. I'm doing the repairs, and you're taking no responsibility. If the components is bad, you should replace it. And he at least he's finally doing it, because I said this is an expensive component. If you were to tell me, okay, this is $100. I might take the hit on something like that. It depends on how much I charge for the repair. Or I tell the customer, look, there's no warranty on the part. It's not expensive. We're gonna have to replace it again. And I'm always transparent and honest with the customers. But at least he's doing it. And probably that's why this company couldn't, because I always mention the analog to digital converter, but I don't show my secret sauce. And this is what a lot of people is like, hey, Mike, what do you end up repairing? What do you end up replacing? I'm like, I'm not here to kill my own business. This is what I do for a living. I'm no longer working as a mechanic. This is my full-time job now, 100% working on repairing computers. So I cannot, give away my information that I have burned my eyelashes. That's a Costa Rican saying. I don't know if it makes sense for you, but that's like when you're spend hours and hours reading and learning and deciphering a module, and then somebody else just comes like, "Can you tell me what you replaced? Because I want to pick up your brain." I'm like, "Yeah, well, no, that's not that simple." All right, guys, let me see if I can definitely fix this computer, and let me just turn it off and see if now that it's warmed up, it runs again. So let me put the ignition in 1, 2. Nope. So we can definitely reproduce this every single time. You can see it's not running. Otherwise, we will have that now firing in here. You can see that everything is on and my switches are on. I actually lie, and only the 2 switches I need to put, not the third one. It's not necessary for this to run. But again, if I keep talking in here, it most definitely probably will run. And this is very common on these computers. But let me do the repair, and I'll be right back, guys. Hi guys, I gotta show you this because they were definitely inside. I'm lucky for Richard. I don't think they did any major damage or anything on the computer. It runs, right? So, but I'm going to show you what a garbage work. They replaced 2 capacitors. That's all they did. Replace 2 capacitors and actually put not even the correct capacitors in place, which is, this is the voltage supply. But let me just show you what they did and what it could have been done here. So let me put the light first, and I'm going to get the camera to zoom in so you can get to see that. So I want you to see this capacitor in here. I'm going to be careful. See, this is a hydrolytic capacitor, not the correct presentation or size, but look at this one too, right? So this is in a capsule capacitor. You see? Let me show you what it should be here, so you understand what I'm talking about. This company puts the cheapest they can, and do the less they can, and they charge the customers. And good luck any money back from them, because this is, again, I call them scammers, but for a reason. Let me show you a picture of a good board, so you can get to see what it should be here. Right, this is a URB1, but it's the same family, let's say. That is the capacitor that should be there. It's a SMD capacitor. Same thing on here, right? So we have another different type of capacitors. I have them all in stock. I have the original parts that goes in here. I have the same conformal coating that goes into these units, because that is the big difference when you see a repair done by these butchers, right? Because there's no other way to describe it. You know immediately somebody was here. When I finish working on this computer, everything is going to look like nobody was ever here. Why? Because I use the original components. My solder is exactly as a factory, and I use the same conformal coating that is protecting this module for any water or moisture that could potentially be. Because why? This isn't close to the engine room, so it's moisture in this is not a sealed unit, so they protect it that way for a reason. All right, so I just want to show you and share that. So I'll be right back. Let me do the repairs, guys, correct all this junk, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I finished the repairs. I replaced all the injector drivers, coil drivers, voltage regulators, all the capacitors, diodes, and reapply the conformal coating. Now let me show you how a repair should look. This was just ridiculous. Now you can see in there the original capacitors that should be installed in here. Not that junk they put in there, and all the junk they left. This was just covered in dirt and grime, and disgusting. Let me take this cover out of here because I'm not sure it's out in there. Let's do the test now. I'm going to zoom out. Let the scanner in place and put the full probe, which should be ready to go as the way it was. I have not changed the full probe. Yeah, we don't need nothing else. So let's run it. So, oops, what happened there? All right, so battery and ignition in 1, 2. Perfect. I like the way that sound is like a melody to my ears. This is exactly the way it should be. Like I said, I'm an expert on these computers. Luckily for Richard, at least this time that company didn't make a mess. They just replaced 2 capacitors and didn't do anything else on the board. So I guess they were responsible enough to say, you know what, we're dealing with a very expensive component, so let's at least not the proper capacitors, but they were the correct voltage and capacitance, but not the correct part for this. The reason we use SMD, or this board uses SMD, is because it's not a through hole board, so you cannot put those in there, because otherwise they will vibrate and they will heat up. So you cannot just install any type of capacitor. The SMD is meant to sit perfectly in there and bind with the conformal coating at the same time to the board, and then don't get any issues. Again, as you can see, I covered it with, the conformal coating, and everything is protected against it's not waterproof, but it will create a good layer to protect against moisture, because when these components in the computer is running in the vehicle, it's obviously going to heat up, and if it's any moisture in the ambient, it's going to attract when it cools down, especially with the bead heat shrink or heat sink board. This is an aluminum case or so that will dissipate the heat and at the same time attract moisture right when it's cooling down. So that is just the way the nature of this is. I'm just going to connect to the scanner so you guys and Richard can see that this is the same computer. So I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to exit the scanner, and I'm going to reestablish. It looks like a loss of communication with the BCI, which is kind of odd because it's here. You see the light in there, so I'm going to unplug it. Sometimes it's not put down, does that. So I'm going to disconnect it and then connect it again. Let's wait for that to connect. All right, so now we have connection with the scanner. I'm going to select 4. Well, it's actually immediately attempting communication by itself. And all I'm doing in here is just showing for you and for Richard that this is the same computer, because I have older computers in here, but I don't think I have a ABU2. But even if I have, like you see, this is the same being number. This is the same computer. I don't leave anything hanging that can later on says, you know what, that was not my computer, Mike. I don't know what you repaired, but that's not the same board. No, it is. I'm showing you here and all of you that it is the same board. All right, let's turn it off. You can see there is no longer RPMs. I just did the ignition off, and we're going to do the ignition in 1, 2, 3. Instantly, you can see the injectors and coil firing, and the RPM now reading as it should. This should be a plug and play, and it started immediately. So this is a fully repaired computer, Richard. And guys, thank you so much again for trusting Mike Salazar Diagnostics. Richard, I really appreciate that. I hoped that you have found me first, and I know sometimes it's impossible because even though I'm trying to come up with a better marketing strategy, it's very expensive for me to cover the entire even United States. And otherwise, I will have another partner, and it's very hard to work that way, especially as a small business like I am. But with your help here on YouTube, when you subscribe to my channel, that helps me promote my business a lot more, because YouTube promotes more and more my videos. So thank you so much if you do so. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.